Hello everyone. I don't want to waste any of your time, so let's get right into it. There are timestamps in the description if you want to skip to a specific tier. The explanations for each legend will get more detailed as we move up the tier list. I don't want to waste too much time on guys you really shouldn't be picking anyways. So let's go. Starting off with the do not pick category. These are just legends that you should straight up not pick if you're new to the game. They're either very difficult to use effectively, or their abilities won't really help you understand the game better or help you improve much. I'm not going to spend time describing these legends because frankly, if you're a beginner, you should not be selecting them or prioritizing unlocking them. So for now, don't worry about Newcastle, Seer, Vantage, Crypto, Gibraltar, Pathfinder, and Ballistic. The next tier I have is the would not recommend tier. Some of these guys are in here for different reasons, so I'm going to go one by one and explain why I would not recommend them to a beginner. First off, we have Horizon. Now if you know a bit about the game already, you may be shocked that I have Horizon this low, but remember, this is a list for beginners. At the moment, Horizon is arguably the best character in the game. However, despite what some people may tell you, she's not the easiest legend to master. Even though she is my favorite legend to play, the issue I have with recommending her is that her abilities add another dimension of play to the game, and I think beginners should be focused on more basic abilities. Again, she is a lot of fun, but personally, I wouldn't call her beginner friendly. Once you have a bit of experience in the game though, she would be a great pick as your main legend as long as you love to fight. Next we have Rampart. Now Rampart, honestly, she's just not a great character in general. Also, her abilities won't really teach you much. Following her I have Watson. Watson is a solid character, but I think it would be difficult to find value in her abilities as a new player. Moving on to the next tier, I have labeled as an okay choice. These legends are fine for beginners, but there's nothing really too special about them that would make them a great choice. I wouldn't say I recommend these guys, but they're not bad choices. First off, we have Fuse. Fuse is a solid legend overall. His abilities are not too difficult to understand. The only issue is that it's not easy to be accurate with his ultimate, which is a Ring of Fire. The next legend I have here is Caustic. Caustic is a defensive character just like Watson. However, I think his abilities are more versatile and it would be easier to get value out of his abilities as a newer player. His abilities are also easy to understand, but can help teach you how important map control is. Following Caustic, I have Mirage. Now let me get this straight. Mirage is a bad legend. In fact, he is arguably the worst character. But his abilities are very straightforward and beginner friendly. Also, he can be very fun to play. His abilities can lead to some satisfying plays on the enemy, but most of the time his abilities are honestly pretty useless. Playing him won't really teach you much, but again, he can be a lot of fun and is simple, so I put him here. And next on the list I have Mad Maggie. To me, she's the definition of a mid character. Her abilities are fine, but they're nothing special. She's not a complex character, but not a simple one either. Following her, I have Bangalore. Bangalore is my second most played character. However, I can't recommend her to a beginner. If you do not understand how to use her smokes effectively, you will end up screwing your team and yourself over, especially if you're on controller. That's because when you are inside of a Bangalore smoke, aim assist is disabled. However, if you are not worried about the complexity of her character and are just looking for a long-term main, then she could be a good pick. Finally, in this tier, I have Ashe. Ashe is kind of similar to Maggie in the sense that she's just a mid character with okay abilities. But what I will say is that you can learn a bit from playing Ashe. You can learn the value of catching enemies off guard and how to do that correctly. The next tier I have for you all is the good for beginners tier. From here on up, I would definitely recommend all of these legends. So first in this tier, I have Revenant Reborn. Since Rev got reworked, he's been a good choice for pubs while remaining a fairly simple legend. While his movement ability may be daunting at first, it's really simple. Basically, the leap arcs itself. If you look up, you'll go shorter than you would if you were looking pretty much straight. His ultimate gives you extra HP that resets on a knockdown, and it also resets over time. Playing him can teach you a lot about the value of good positioning. Second in this tier, I have Loba. Loba's abilities are simple yet useful for beginners. She has a bracelet which she can throw, then teleport to. The arcing of that ability does not work the same as Revenant though, and hers is more traditional in what you'd expect. Her ultimate lets you take a peek at all of the loot in an area, and you and your teammates each get to select 2 items from that area. She's fun to play, simple to understand, yet can also be an effective support character. You can also learn positioning better by playing her. Following her, I have Valk. Valk is again a character with movement abilities, however hers are completely unique. Her passive is a jetpack, giving her the ability to fly and change positions quickly. You can learn a lot about optimal fighting positions from playing Valk. Additionally, Valk's ultimate ability gives her and her teammates the ability to shoot up into the sky and fly around, which is very valuable if you and your teammates are trying to escape an enemy or chase one down. The last character I have in this tier is Lifeline. Now I'm not gonna lie to you guys, in high levels of play, Lifeline is not a good legend at all. However, I would recommend her to beginners because of the simplicity of her kit, along with the fact that she can cover for some mistakes that newer players might make. Her tactical ability is a healing drone, which allows you and your teammates to heal up white health. Along with that, her drone can also be used to revive your teammates without being stuck in that revive animation. Her ultimate ability brings down a care package which contains smart loot, meaning the loot will give you items that you and your teammates definitely need. Here we are guys, the final tier of legends, which I have labeled as perfect for beginners. These 4 are some of the most played characters in the game for good reason. We're going to do things a little differently this time though. I'm going to rank these legends within the tier. So coming in at number 4, I have Catalyst. Right now, she is by far and away the best defensive character in the game. If you may believe that's your style, then she's certainly the pick for you. Her passive and tactical allow her to lock down buildings extremely effectively. She can essentially add a layer of protection onto doors, which makes them much harder to break, and also makes it impossible for enemies to open the doors regularly. Her tactical is a spike strip that can be used in combination with the doors for extra reinforcements. Those strips are also useful on their own as they can make enemies peeking or pushing specific spots more difficult. Her ultimate ability is a huge wall that blocks the line of sight for enemies and makes it easy for Cat and her team to make movements and delay fighting. She was the second most picked legend in the Apex Pro scene this past LAN for a reason. Okay, so in the number 3 slot I have Octane. At the moment, Octane has the highest pick rate of all legends in the game, and for good reason. While although he's not a great legend for competitive play, he's fantastic for pubs and beginners. His tactical ability is essentially a speed boost which you can use over and over again at the cost of taking health damage. However, his passive allows himself to automatically heal that health damage. His ultimate ability is a launch pad, allowing you to quickly move a decent distance in order to escape or pounce on an enemy. He's a lot of fun to play, and with a simple kit, he's also beginner friendly. He's a great pick if you're looking to fight as much as possible, and also if you are looking to improve your movement skills. Moving on to my number 2 pick, I have Bloodhound. Bloodhound's kit revolves around their tracking abilities. Their passive can show you where enemy activity has been recently. Their tactical is a scan that will show you nearby enemies. And their ult allows you to run faster and gives you a clear highlight of all enemies in your line of sight. Bloodhound is a perfect pick for somebody who wants to play legends whose role is to gather information and take on fights. Their kit is not the simplest though, but it's not too complex either. Blood is a solid pick both in pubs, ranked, and competitive. So if you're looking for a character to stick with long term, Blood would not be a bad pick. Now, the best legend for beginners in my opinion is Wraith, and it isn't particularly close. Wraith's tactical ability allows you to get away with so many things you cannot on other characters. In good hands, it allows you to make smart pushes and take angles that other legends cannot do safely. It also allows for get out of jail free card, which will be very useful for beginners who won't know what they're doing and will overextend often. Her ultimate ability is a portal that can be used by both teammates and enemies. It can be very useful for repositioning and escaping situations. You can learn so much about fighting from playing Wraith, what to do and especially what not to do. It will teach you a lot of things that you can and cannot get away with doing on every other character. This to me means she's the ultimate teacher. On top of this, she's a lot of fun to play. Most people typically find movement characters the most fun, and she is no different. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like and a comment telling me what I should do a tier list on next. Since this is my first video, I know things may have been shaky, so if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments as well. Thanks again, and see you guys later.